I'm saying jailed for nothing here. Richard Williams, a 34-year-old man, a Facebook post about, I don't even know what it was. I've got the detail. Jailed for 3 months. Actually put in jail for 3 months for the Facebook post. Lee Dunst, a 51-year-old man, Facebook post, jailed for 8 weeks. Billy Thorpe, 31-year-old father, Facebook posted some emojis, basically, some, about immigrants or whatever, jailed for 12 weeks. Julie Sweeney, you'll have heard of this lady. She posted a Facebook post, something along the lines of, you need to go and burn the mosque or something like that. No previous criminal... By the way, none of these have got previous criminal records, these people. No previous criminal records. A woman, a carer for her husband. Facebook post, jailed for 15 months. Jordan Parler, 28, Facebook post, again, supposedly 20 months. David Spring, a 62-year-old man, and there's a video of this guy who went to a protest in London. He was shouting at the police. He didn't commit any violence or anything. He was shouting at the police. I think he may be the one who shouted, "You're not English anymore," to the police. Jailed for 18 months. A gay couple, I don't know if you heard about this, I think they were making fun of the policeman's horses or something. Jailed, I don't know how long for. Guy Harkness, a soldier who served, for his country, was at a protest. Again, no violence or something like pushing over, but jailed for 12 months. And then Thomas Whitehouse, and this is quite an interesting one which I mentioned to you. He was either at a riot or not a riot but a protest. Then he was recognised. He'd gone on holiday. He flew back. The police were waiting. So he hadn't hurt anybody, by the way. Not hurt anybody, not attacked anybody. He was involved in a riot. He flew back, went on holiday. So this is a normal guy. I went to the protest in Manchester and I was there. He went to a protest, went on holiday with his family, came back. He was arrested as he came off the plane, and they published his name and address on the police website, and then he was jailed for, 10 months or something like that. So as I go down that list there, what are your thoughts on those people and what's happened to them? Is that an equitable thing that's happened?
No. We need to differentiate between people who were caught up in the riots and broke windows, attacked people, threw bricks at police. They need potentially jail time. Not got a problem with that. People who are posting offensive things online, like the woman who said burn down the migrant hotels, shouldn't have said that. Classed as incitement to riot, incitement to murder. I get that. But we need to take into account that it's online. She needs prosecuting. But nowhere in a million years in this country would she get a custodial sentence for that, up to a couple of months ago. Some of the others was a guy who was arrested and sent to jail, maybe one of those guys, for screaming at a police dog.
Yes, that's not one of those, but that's what happened.
So it's gone mental. And the reason why this is happening is, I'll go back to what I said before. The government and the elite are scared. They've seen uncontrolled violence on the streets. They've seen the anger of the normal people. They've seen demonstrations. Hence why they've classed it all as violent. They've classed it all as far right, even though there was some violent thugs there. Of course there was. But they've had to clamp down on this because they're afraid. Because if we let this get out of hand, we'll be gone soon. If this starts all over the country, we need to clamp down on this now, hard, and send the message. And they would rather let criminals out of jail, rapists, who are not being sent to jail at the moment. They'll just let a guy out of jail who was involved in a machete attack that killed someone. And they're quite happy letting criminals out of jail, dangerous criminals out of jail, because those dangerous criminals are not a danger to the government and to the elite. They don't care about them. But a shouty man on the street corner who is educating other white Englishmen on street corners, who looks like he could be helping build momentum and change in the country. Mr. Shouty is dangerous to our government. We need to come down on Mr. Shouty And that's exactly what this is. You could class nearly all those people you mentioned there as political dissidents.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Other countries do this, and we shame them and say Iran shouldn't be doing this, China shouldn't be doing that. We're now sending people to jail for Facebook posts because the government is as afraid of its people as Iran is scared of their people, as China is scared of their people. Wait, this is just a playbook.
And I think that's a really good point, because I regard these people as political prisoners. Yeah. I think they are people who have expressed disagreeing with the government. They've expressed disagreeing with the government, its policies effectively, manifested in different ways, but that's what they're doing. And as a result of that, they've been arrested and thrown in jail as political prisoners. There's no difference to me as what happened in Hong Kong when the protesters originally protested again. They were jailed again for being involved in riots, but actually they were protesting against the Chinese government when it took over Hong Kong. Yeah. There's no difference to this, as I could see. But the shocking thing is, 1,000 people have been arrested in this process. 1,000 people. And those people, if they are then sent to jail, in my view, are political prisoners. But I guess the thing I'm surprised at, and I've gone down this list, and it's clearly, I didn't really have to ask you the question, because it's clearly clear this is totally inappropriate, this reaction from the government or whatever. But I'm not hearing many voices saying this is outrageous, we need to free these people. Are you hearing this, or am I missing this?
I'm hearing some of it online, Free Speech Union and the usual voices. I'm hearing them talking about this new culture for them. But anybody connected to the elite isn't, because they want the status quo. They make their living, they've got a comfortable life with the status quo. Why would they want to rock the boat? They may not agree with this, but they can understand that the government is trying to maintain the status quo. And then you've got the average person on the street. Like I said to you, half of them have now shown themselves to be cowards, which was always going to be the case, and they're being quiet now and behaving just like the government want them to do. And then there's a percentage of people who are not shutting up, who are still speaking. So it doesn't surprise me what's happened, and it doesn't surprise me the reaction, because even people who think they're freedom fighters and think they're heroes, it's easy to think that until it happens and there's consequences. And now you're going, do I want to lose my job as a solicitor? I could get disbarred. That's me done. I'm a doctor. If my bosses find out I criticised any of this, then the NHS could strike me off. The nurses union have just put a statement out saying that the nurses union now are stating they do not want to treat racists. So if nurses can say we refuse to treat racists, and you work as a nurse or a doctor, if you say the wrong thing, you're struck off, you're gone. That's your career gone. So, but that's what fear does. Fear makes people kowtow, but it only ever lasts a certain amount of time.
But I think that's what's frightening, because we know, for example, when the Rwanda idea of shipping Rwandan immigrants, when there were loads of immigration lawyers, human rights lawyers, turned up to overturn this. Where are these people for the 1,000 who've been jailed or have been arrested?
They're exactly where you imagine would be. They're on the communist marches. They're the people in the amnesty vests clapping that we're going to slit the throats of white scum racists. So these people have an agenda. So these people are not there to protect human rights for all. They're only there to protect human rights for the people we agree with.
No, and I see that, but what I'm saying is, where's their equivalent then? Where are the people? There must be lawyers, criminal lawyers, human rights lawyers in this country who are seeing what's happened to these people. Because I'm not seeing it, Nick. I'm genuinely not seeing it. Who will say, hang on a minute, this isn't right. We're going to start a mass action here and get these people out of jail. Where are they?
Cowards. Because they know if they do that, there's a very good chance they're going to be disbarred.
But that's frightening as well then, isn't it? It means it's working.
Well, absolutely working. Yeah, up to a certain point. I know a solicitor, a lawyer, barrister. I chatted to him a few years ago. He was a nice guy. He got kicked out of his practice. All the other partners voted him out and kicked him out because he used a phrase online, "stroppy black girl," and he was talking about some girl who took a school to court and won her case because they wanted her to comb her hair down because she had a big afro, 18 inches afro. Kids behind her couldn't see the teacher, so he called her a stroppy black girl, and lost his career.
I'm not sure what the answer to that is.
Well, I know what the answer is. It's called courage.
Right.
I wrote a book on it. My first book is called Lessons in Courage.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about. It's about you've got to make a stand, because when are you going to make a stand? Is it when they come for your neighbours? Is it when they come for your cousins?
Yeah.
Is it when they come for you? When do you make a stand? Because the longer you leave it, the harder the fight's going to be. So we've all got to ask ourselves, when do we make a fight? Is it when they're killing the Jews? Is it when they're killing the homosexuals? I don't know when the answer is, but it's cowardice, and we're all prone to cowardice, and the only antidote to cowardice is courage.
But I think part of the problem is the apparatus that the government are employing is so strong, so powerful, so insipid and insidious within everything they're doing. It's very hard for people to actually start to collaborate, to work together, to start to put structures together to do this, because they have scattered everybody, haven't they, with this process?
If it was easy to do, we wouldn't need to do it.
Yes.
It already would have been done.
Yeah.
And we think this is a hard time at the moment. But do you think we're living in a hard time to change this country and change our elite and our government compared to Nelson Mandela, who had the harder time?
Yeah.
Compared to Gandhi,
Yeah.
who had the harder
I'm
time?
not a fan of Gandhi.
No, but he beat the British Empire.
Yes, he did actually.
Compared to Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
There's been people compared to Joan of Arc. So just because it's hard now, it's still possible, and it's very easily possible. We just need to look at people who are in worse situations, with less resources, with less support, and they change the world.
Yeah.
I'm tired of people online telling me it's over, telling me England's done.
Yeah.
There's no point trying.
Yeah.
And I say to them, you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Your cowardice is part of the problem, because if you weren't such a coward and you stood up and said things, that would encourage other people to stand up and say things.
Yeah.
And the government then would hear 60 million people saying things, and that will terrify the bejesus out of them.
Yeah. And that courage, we've talked about this before, doesn't it? Courage comes from a leader, from a person that says things that people listen to. And we've talked about Tony Robinson, about Nigel Farage. You don't think those are the particular people, but there must come a point where somebody emerges who everybody listens to, who says this person makes sense, and actually we're going to say that as well. You know, and I think that's what we need to do. And I always think part of what we're doing here, we're saying these things, and I hope people listening and feeling more courageous about saying things themselves.
Well, that's number one comment I get online now. And I've never had this before, up to a couple of months, never had it. Thanks for that video, Nick. It's made me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm not as downhearted now that I've heard you discuss it, or
Yeah.
your point of view on this, or your optimism on that. Thank you, I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
That's a win.
It is a win.
Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers, I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.